Hey guys, welcome back. I just wanted to give you a little tutorial. And basically I had a few people ask me, how do I prepare my raised garden beds? And there's two different ways that I do it. There's a lot of ways you can do it, but something that I like to use that's very fast and simple and easy is with 2x6 lumber, okay? Here we have two different types of woods. This one is pressure treated, and this one over here is not. You can see the discoloration. Basically what happens is pressure treated should last a long time. And it really does. Versus not pressure treated is more susceptible to rot and termites, so it lasts a lot less. However, this one right here has already been there for 4 years and it's still holding strong. I'm assuming I could get another 4 to 5 years out of it, if not longer. So in reality, you know, if you have to replace it every 8 to 10 years, no big deal, replace it. This lasts a lot longer. Now, some people say, oh yeah, pressure treated is filled with chemicals. It's not good for the trees and good for your fruits that you're eventually going to eat. That's true. However, supposedly, I haven't done the full-blown research, but supposedly pressure treated nowadays is no longer infused with all of these harsh chemicals that are cancer causing, but it's just treated with some kind of, I don't know what it is. It definitely is a chemical in there. And, but it's not as harmful as it used to be, 50, 60, 70 years ago. I've been using it, no problems. I'm still alive, thank God. But if I were to do it all over again, I'd probably just go with the regular wood, simply because it's like half the price. At least when I bought it, it was double the price, this stuff versus that one. And replacing it every 10 years is not a big deal. It's just a little bit of work, right? The reason why I also kept all my garden beds this type of wood is because I started it with one type and I just kept going. So it's a lot more expensive, but I like it. It looks good. It gives a little bit of contrast in the backyard. And the reason why I have raised garden beds is because I have horrible clay soil. This stuff gets wet and it stays wet for weeks. And it's horrible. So when I put it on a raised bed, I can fill the beds up with my soil that I choose. And in my case, I use some good raised garden bed soil, and I mix it in with construction sand. You could also use perlite, which is really great. You could also throw some peat moss. You could throw a little bit of clay soil in there if you wanted to, just a little bit, not too much, because it retains a lot of water. And then, one thing to keep in mind, definitely want to mulch. 3, 4, 5 inches of mulch is the best way to go with raised garden beds, especially when you're living in very extreme hot climates, because these things will dry out. It's basically a huge pot, so it will dry out. Make sure you give it plenty of water and make sure it's deep water. I've had a few avocado trees die simply because I think I give it enough water, and in reality, you're only giving it about 2 inches of water, but the roots 2 feet below are all dried. Even 1 foot below is bone dry, so you want to make sure you give it a good watering. And one way to do that is give it basically 2 days of good watering. One day, flood it with 10, 15, 20 gallons, and the next day, do it again. Because these in particular are big beds, right? It's like 4 by 4. It's actually bigger than that. It's like 4 by 4 feet and 4 inches. So that's a lot of area, a lot of soil to absorb, a lot of water, and being exposed to the air and all the sun, it does dry out. So make sure you're watering it appropriately. You can always check your moisture by removing everything, you know, your mulches. I have wood chips. I like them. They work. They take a long time to break down. The best one will be a leaf mulch, as it breaks down a lot faster and it provides more nutrients to the roots sooner versus the wood chips. When I build these, I just cut them right in half using a chop saw, and then I use a stainless steel lag bolt. It probably goes all the way up to here. And then I use a couple little screws right here, regular wood screws, just to tap it in. Nothing too fancy. You gotta keep it easy, keep it simple. And then to keep these in place, which honestly is really not needed, because once they're there, unless you're hitting it with a car or a tractor, a bulldozer, or these things don't move anymore. But otherwise, if you are worried about them moving around, which they won't after you put all the dirt in them, you could drill a hole here and put another lag bolt that goes from here into here, just to keep it more secure. But honestly, like I said, it's not needed. I have a few beds that I didn't have lag bolts, and I set them down and they stayed, and they're still there now. So right now it's middle of April. No, I'm sorry, middle of March. You see here we have some orange peels. Throw that around the garden. Eventually it breaks down and feeds the trees, feeds the roots. Here's an apricot tree. Blooms are starting to go crazy. Sorry about the neighbor's dog. All day, every day they bark. What do you gotta do? I think they got like 6 dogs now. Let's go take a look at some avocados growing in pots. I love growing in pots. They're easy to move. When it rains too much, you can pack them and move them under the canopies, protect them. Make sure you spray your avocado trees. Give it a little bit of a sunscreen. Helps it out, especially when they're small. When they're eventually big and large and they have their own big canopy, you don't really have to protect them that much. But the first 5 years, or the first 3 to 5 years, are when they're at the greatest risk of dying out. There you go. Here's a little lamb house. A nice little avocado right here. It's pretty big. It's a lamb house, which is a A-type avocado. Definitely nice and big. Got some more hidden, growing. Not bad. Fuertes, zutanos, reeds, got all kinds of good stuff. Anyways, happy gardening, guys.